The NFL wildcard round is set, and the San Francisco 49ers will host the rival Seattle Seahawks coming up on Saturday. Coming up on today's show, we're going to preview this matchup in the NFL playoffs, but first, rivalry game. San Francisco, Seattle, Niners have won 10 games in a row. If you think they're going to make it 11 and take down the Sea Chickens, I want you to hit that thumbs up icon and like the video, and with that, let's preview this game. It's another Victory Monday here on the San Francisco 49ers Report, and that never gets old, nor does True Classic Tees, the best menswear out there, and a great deal for the faithful. If you use the promo code CHAT, 25% off. I love their t-shirts. I love their golf polos like the one that I'm rocking. We'll tell you more about True Classic coming up here in just a few moments. So the purpose of today's show, the 2022 regular season is wrapped up, and now that we're shifting gears into 2023, you know what that means. The NFL playoffs are here, and San Francisco going to be looking to take down the Seattle Seahawks for the third time this year on Saturday night in the wild card round as the number 2 seed. And what a ride it's been for the 49ers. When you think back to how this season started, early losses, really despicable losses against the Chicago Bears, who had the number 1 pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, and the disastrous Denver Broncos. At that point, the Niners had started 3-4 with a couple of those ugly losses in the early going of this season. And when San Francisco began the season at 3-4, did anybody expect them to finish the year like they did with a 13-4 record, popping off a 10-game winning streak to round out the regular season when they had 3 different starting quarterbacks? It started with Trey Lance. It went to Jimmy Garoppolo after his injury. And after Jimmy G got injured, Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, really taking over the storylines across the NFL and helping to lift this Niners team on a miraculous run. One of the more epic and successful seasons in Niners franchise history in the regular season that ends and hopefully continues with an NFC West crown in the regular season and a number 2 seed in the playoffs. And for this matchup, going to take place at Levi Stadium because San Francisco able to solidify that 2 spot in the NFC, 1:30 p.m. Pacific on Saturday, 4:30 p.m. Eastern. Of course, we'll be doing a watch party for it, and this is pretty telling here. San Francisco, 10.5-point favorites, the biggest line so far in the early going of the first round of the playoffs, over-under set at 43. As for the matchups across the board in the NFC, it's going to be Niners-Seahawks on Saturday. Vikings and Giants will kick off in Minnesota Sunday. Bucks against the Cowboys on Monday Night Football as ESPN will have its final broadcast of the season. Eagles get that 1 seed. They finished the year at 14-3. Niners right behind them at 13-4, as well as the Vikings, but San Francisco owns the tiebreaker. The Bucks, who I think have a realistic chance to take down the Cowboys, won the NFC South. 4 position for them, followed by the Dallas Cowboys, New York Giants, and the Seattle Seahawks. Now, we're going to be giving you coverage every single day. Multiple live shows this week as we really get ramped up for what is going to be an epic matchup between the Niners and the Seahawks, considering that Seattle has really owned this rivalry up until this year. When the 49ers have swept the regular season series, they're going to look to make it 3 in a row, and you don't want to miss any of our coverage because we'll also be doing a watch party for this game on Saturday right here on the 49ers Report. Continue to grow the faithful family here at Chat Sports with free content analysis, news, rumors every single day. Let's grow 74,000 subscribers and counting. This is your go-to spot for year-round San Francisco 49ers coverage. Now, as I mentioned at the top of the show, 49ers Report is presented by True Classic Tees. They have t-shirts. They have golf polos. They have activewear. They have formal wear, everything you want. And if you go to trueclassictees.com/chat and you use the promo code CHAT, 25% off your entire order. And the old year with the new you enclosed that'll give you the confidence to tackle all those 2023 resolutions. Thanks to our sponsor, True Classic, you'll have everything you need to hit the gym, take it slow, kick back and chill, or treat yourself to something nice. Fellas, I'm talking to you. True Classic has already helped over 2 million men look great in their tees, and now you can save big while you do so. Look good, feel good, play good, just like the Niners on this 10-game tear. For a limited time only, 25% off with the code CHAT. at trueclassic.com. They'll make you feel your best by accentuating the places that the eyes go to first. They have a slim bottom, tight around the shoulders and the chest, and these shirts are made for every man out there. Whether you're skinny, you're fit, or you're a little bit larger, it's all good. True Classic Tees offers everything for everybody out there. Your average Joe, to me, on air, because I'm an average Joe as well, or some celebrity out there. You get the point. TrueClassicTees.com/chat, promo code chat for 25% off. Now, from my seat, you think back to that line for this football game. It's pretty telling. 49ers are 10.5-point favorites in a playoff game against a familiar divisional foe. That's a large line. Why is that the case? Because San Francisco is the better team, and the odds makers expect that this could be a blowout. And why the Niners are favorites, San Francisco in 2 matchups this year at Levi Stadium as well as Lumen Field has outscored Seattle by a combined score of 48-20 in those 2 games, and the Seahawks have scored a grand total of 1 offensive touchdown in 120 minutes of gameplay. You also have 2 teams who are on opposite sides of the spectrum in terms of talent and how they've been playing for the last couple of months. The Seahawks really did backpedal into the playoffs in the back half of the year, whereas San Francisco had built that momentous train. Seattle's last 5 games, they lost 30-24 to the Panthers, 21-13 to the Niners on Thursday Night Football. They gave the Niners the division title, lost to the Chiefs, then a win over the hapless Jets as they continue to have quarterback nightmares there, and a 19-16 win over the Rams yesterday in overtime to seal their playoff spot, because then the Detroit Lions, with nothing to play for, took down Aaron Rodgers with another choke job for him and beat the Packers on the road at Lambeau Field to eliminate the Packers, paving the way for Seattle to make it back into the playoffs. As for the Niners' last 10 games, you see the theme here. They've scored a lot of points. They haven't given up a lot of points. They have been really dominant during this stretch. Now, a little bit of a concern for this football team heading into the big dance is the fact that a lot of these teams on your screen, not quality opponents. But in the NFL, no game is easy, and San Francisco has dominated all of these games. Double-digit win over the Rams. Good win over the Chargers, 38-10 win over the Cardinals in Mexico City, 13-0. They pitch a shutout against the Saints, 33-17. They blasted the Dolphins, and Miami was never the same. A great win over the Bucs, 35-7, as Tom Brady came home and took the L. A big win on Thursday Night Football. The scoreboard doesn't indicate that that game was a blowout, but it kind of was. San Francisco dominated that game in the trenches and everywhere. 37-20 win against the Commanders. They outlasted the Raiders in overtime, and then yesterday they go down early with that 77-yard trick play, and then they come back to barely give up any yards after that touchdown. Dominant defensively, dominant offensively en route to a 38-13 win over Arizona. Cliff Kingsbury has been fired by Arizona, by the way. And the 49ers during this 10-game winning streak, averaging 30.5 points per game. The trade of Christian McCaffrey has really changed the complexion and the direction of this football team, and San Francisco has been oh so dominant, the hottest team in the NFL. In the NFC, across the NFL, the Cincinnati Bengals rounding out the regular season with an 8-game winning streak, the second hottest team in the NFL. That could be a Super Bowl preview and a rematch of a previous Super Bowl that a lot of people in the faithful are fond of. So, with that, we're only getting started with our preview, but time to get your predictions in. My prediction at the end of the show. Who you got? SF for the San Francisco 49ers, SEA for the Seattle Seahawks. Let us know down in the comments section. We want to hear from everybody. Now, this graphic is oh so clean thanks to my boy Trace Gerard, Trizzy Trace. You already know the deal. He's the best in the game. And let's take a look at the Week 2 comparison and the Week 15 comparison between the 49ers and the Seattle Seahawks. Because in both of these games, San Francisco really has been the more dominant team with more premier players. And I expect it, and it should, unless the Niners turn the football over 4 times, should be a lot like these previous 2 matchups. So in Week 2 at Levi Stadium, remember Trey Lance gets injured, Jimmy Garoppolo comes in, he played well. 49ers, 25 first downs to Seattle's 14. 70 plays to Seattle's 47, 373 total yards to 216 for the Seahawks, 189 rushing yards to 36. That's a theme this year between these 2 divisional foes. 27 points to 7, and Seattle did not score an offensive touchdown in that game. The only time they got on the board, a blocked field goal for a touchdown. Then, in Week 15, as the Niners wrapped up the division on Thursday Night Football in enemy territory, the scoreboard a little bit closer, as we said. But if you watch that game, 49ers were in control of it. They needed to outlast Seattle a little bit. Jordan Mason put the dagger in the Seahawks, but 15 first downs to 16, 61 plays each, 381 yards, though, for the 49ers, not 27 there for Seattle. I think it was 270 there. 170 rushing yards for the 49ers to 70 for the Seahawks. So 2 games, San Francisco has dominated with their ground game, 21 points to 13, but Seattle with that Noah Fant touchdown, the only touchdown that the Seahawks have scored offensively in 120 minutes of gameplay against the number 1 defense in the NFL. And this is why the 49ers should win. They're the hottest team in football, and I don't even think that's debatable. You look at how they've won, the ways that they've won, it's really impressive. They have more premier players as compared to Seattle, and that's the byproduct of the Seahawks more so being in that rebuilding phase, and credit to Pete Carroll. He's led them on a playoff run, and that's really impressive considering that roster isn't all that talented. 49ers offense is humming. They have the best defense in football, so they're a complementary unit and team right now, and this is the best and most complete team in the NFC in San Francisco. Here's a little bit of a concern. As we look all the way ahead to Saturday, it's only Monday right now. This could change. 80% chance of rain on Saturday. Now, I know the Niners are physical. I know they have a great defense. They do a great job of running the football and stopping the run. But the Seahawks like the fact that as of Monday, this game could be rainy. The field conditions could be slippery because the only way that Seattle can be victorious in this game is if they muddy it up, they dominate time of possession, and they force Niners turnovers at inopportune times to put points on the board. Now, make sure you interact with me all throughout the weekend, year-round, because I'm the host of the 49ers Report. And if you love talking Niners, I have you covered on social media, Twitter, Instagram, at Chase_Senior. Give me a follow. Feel free to hit me with the DM. I'll definitely get back to you, and we'll chop it up. Turnovers, going to be key. Working off my last point there, 49ers, especially at home, Levi Stadium, plus 16 in turnover differential in home games this season. They are -3 on the road. And I understand the big question. It's the play of Brock Purdy. It's the fact that, okay, the 49ers, can they reel off a rare 3 wins over one team in a single season? They can because they're the better football team. But Brock Purdy's going to have to continue to play like he has in each of his 5 starts. Is he going to fold in a big spot? He hasn't yet, and hopefully that doesn't happen because the 49ers, with the construction of this roster, how well coached they are by Kyle Shanahan and D'Amico Ryans, have as good of an opportunity to win a Super Bowl in a really long time, considering the field in the NFC as well. Here's why Brock Purdy can get it done against the Seahawks and throughout the NFL playoffs and be the rare rookie to be a starting quarterback for a team that wins a Super Bowl, which would be historic, and the storylines would be endless because it would be one of the more epic storylines that we've seen in the history of the NFL. I think that Kyle Shanahan has been in his bag as a play caller, and he set up Brock Purdy for success, giving him easy reads and throws to make. This is also an elite offensive supporting cast around Brock Purdy, and he said as much after the game. My job is easier as compared to Iowa State because with the Cyclones and Matt Campbell as my head coach, I didn't have Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, who has 5 touchdowns over his last couple of games and 7 over his last 4. I didn't have Christian McCaffrey as well as Elijah Mitchell. Purdy himself has played well. Give him credit for that because he's been accurate. He's thrown the ball with anticipation. He's had deep ball accuracy, getting the ball down the field vertically, which this team didn't have with Jimmy Garoppolo. 49ers have a balanced run and pass game as well to take some pressure off of him. You run the ball with Elijah Mitchell and Christian McCaffrey, that sets up play action, and defenses are on their heels because they're not sure what to expect. It's part of the beauty of what San Francisco does in Shanahan's scheme. I think that Purdy has done a great job of playing point guard and distributing the football, not trying to force the issue and do too much. When he understands blitz concepts, which I think he's done a good job of, he's had smart checkdowns when needed, like the screen pass to McCaffrey that went for the 21-yard touchdown yesterday. Accuracy has been there, 67+%, which is obviously ideal in this offense because yak is a huge component of what the Niners like to do. Purdy, as compared to Jimmy G, mobile and athletic, so he can extend plays and make plays out of structure that are backbreaking for the opposing defense. I think he's had a good command of this offense, and I think the big benefit for Brock Purdy here, 48 career college games has been very beneficial because he hasn't looked overwhelmed or inexperienced, and the inexperience factor was something that we always worried about with Trey Lance, but Brock Purdy looks and has played like a seasoned veteran, and the numbers certainly back that up. 5-0 record for Mr. Irrelevant, the final pick in the 2022 NFL Draft. 13 touchdowns to 4 interceptions, 13-3 ratio as a starter. Completion percentage good at 67.1%. As we said, yards per attempt is excellent. Those are Jimmy G numbers, who is always atop the league among quarterbacks in yards per attempt with nearly 1,400 yards through the air. But again, he doesn't need to drop back and chuck it 50 times, which is great for him because this offense is better when it's multifaceted and balanced. And in summary, Niners should win this game. They should dominate. They're the better team as compared to Seattle Seahawks. They have a balanced offensive attack. Don't turn the football over. Shut down the Seahawks' run, because if they can run it, that's how they can win this game. If they milk the clock and harass Geno Smith and force some turnovers, you do that, you win this football game. So with that, predict the score for Saturday's game in the wild card round. San Francisco 49ers, Seattle Seahawks. Let us know in the chat. And drum roll, my prediction. 49ers do cover that 10.5-point line. They win by scoring nearly 30 points yet again. 28 points on the board. Seahawks kick a couple of field goals as they have to settle. Seahawks put up 16 points. Final score 28-16. Niners win it. Sets up a divisional round game at home at Levi Stadium because the Niners have that 2 seed. And let's hope that comes to fruition because, man, I love talking playoff football. Don't forget to subscribe. We'll be with you all throughout the week, every single day, year round, because that's what we do. We serve the faithful.